Nobody seems to be in class today. What is the matter? Nobody has gone from here. 30. Oh, I can see 30. Oh. What is this? Sorry, everybody is disoriented today because everything is...
We can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No, we can hear.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Now I can see you all also. Very good. Now I'm happy to see. Otherwise, seeing two people, I was thinking, what happened? All right. So I'm glad to see you all. I'm also glad to know that many of you all are actually here, though I haven't met you all yet. But I know you all are actually here. Oh, Naeem, you didn't come. But lots of people are here and I'm to meet them. It was chaos trying to get here, but we are finally here now. I mean, it was fine, except that it started raining and all our bags got wet. So we had to come quickly and take out all our clothes and dry them and wash all the stains. But now we are all here. So.
That's an adventure by itself.
Yes, yes. So we are finally safe and secure in our, we didn't have Govardhan Parvat, correct. We didn't even have a plastic sheet. So that was a... so Radha, are you also here? I mean, it seems odd, right? That I'm talking to you all online when actually you all are the same campus as I am. Radha, are you here? Yes. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, so where were we? We were talking last time about joining the dots. Right? Now, joining the dots is a very, very interesting concept because we all have so many thoughts or facts or ideas, and they don't exist in a vacuum. We join them. And when we join them, we make for ourselves kind of picture, a story, a sort of understanding of the situation. For instance, you see Taruna. Taruna, you have seen often in class. Okay, you may have seen her 10 times. You may have heard her 2-3 times. Now you have, let us say, this 12-13 facts. Of these 12-13 facts, you have made for yourself a story of what Taruna is. Now, is that story correct? No. What page? We are on chapter 9, joining the dots.
Page 239.
239?
Yeah, the book I have.
So, we will make a story out of it, something. So, in this world, we can't see everything. We see a few things. And then we join these things. And we make ourselves a story of what this world is all about. Often these stories that we make for ourselves are not quite correct. We see a person who is very rich and he has a car and he's smiling. And we join these dots to say, rich people are happy. We see actors and actresses, right? We see them on the red carpet. We see them so confident and so beautiful, and so wonderful. And we come to the conclusion, wow, it's so wonderful. These people have got something fabulous that I don't have. But very recently, a young girl I met, she asked me, not met, I was talking to her on phone. Nothing to do with class, just somebody who spoke to me for some completely other reason. I mean, nothing to do with Vedanta. And then she said, so ma'am, are you in town? I said, yeah, I'm in town, but I'm going to Delhi tomorrow or day after. I said, ma'am, you live such a wonderful life, because last time she spoke to me, I said, I'm going to Paris tomorrow. So I said, oh ma'am, I'd love to live your life. You have such a wonderful life. I said, yeah, live it and see, then you'll know. She said, no, ma'am, you have a wonderful life. I said, yeah, it's true. No doubt about it. I have a wonderful life, but every life is wonderful, isn't it? Every life is wonderful. What's wrong with anybody's life? All of us are very happy people. Nothing is wrong. Now look at Momita. Is she looking like she has any problem in life? No problem. Look at Mukesh. Is he looking like he has any problem? No problem. We're all entirely happy, wonderful people. There's no problem. So, no, of course I have a problem. Do you have a problem right now? No, I don't have a problem right now. But your life is right now. Not what happened yesterday, not what will happen tomorrow, right now. And right now, nobody has a problem. So we're all happy. I mean, I had a problem 5 minutes ago and I'm desperately trying to take out all the clothes and trying to wash everything and make sure there are no stains because otherwise I've got no clothes for the next 1 month, which is not a good thing to do in situation to be in. So quickly you have to clean everything and all that. But now do I have a problem? I don't. So at any given point, there may be something. There's nothing before, there's nothing after. And if you think of how many points was there really a problem, there weren't so many problems. And yet you can look at your own life, join the dots, because you're going to remember all those spin tricks, right? And say, oh, there's so many problems in my life. And nobody does. We're all living wonderful lives. It's all very easy, very sorted. So when we are joining dots, how are we joining the dots? What are we seeing? Some people join the dots in a particular way, and some people join it in some other way. If we do that bit about the first type of people, they don't join dots. Okay, so if in front of suppose there is a buffalo, in front of that buffalo, Ganesha started drinking milk. What will that buffalo say? He'll say nothing. He'll say Ganesha wants to drink milk, let him drink milk. He has no reaction. So some people don't join any dots. Some people join the dots, but they join them incorrectly. And when you join dots incorrectly, it's called superstition. That means you're relating any cause to any effect. Oh, God is bad to me. Oh, God is good to me. Oh, God saved me. Oh, God did not save me. God has got nothing to do with it. You are doing whatever is to be done. And having done whatever is to be done, you are getting the consequences of it. You put your hand in the fire will burn your hand. You can't say, God burn my hand. God is not burning your hand. Why would God be interested in your hand being burnt? Why would God be interested in you getting a Nobel Prize? Are you special to him in some manner or way? Why would you be special to him? God is not doing anything. Please leave him out of the equation. Let him rest peacefully. We cannot rest peacefully. We don't let him rest peacefully. Let him handle his affairs, whatever he is doing. When we relate, you remember what we're talking about? Then what?
Joining the dots.
Joining the dots. Incorrectly or incorrectly.
This one is incorrect. You join dots incorrectly. It's called superstition. You're making a picture. You're making a story. But that story isn't quite right. Then as you become more scientific, you start relating cause and effect correctly. You don't think that this is because of vibrations, this is because of stones, this is because of, I don't know, all sorts of things come up with it. Everyone relates things. Suppose a black cat crosses my path and I fall down. And I think, oh my God, that black cat crossed my path and so I fell down. Hare Baba, if you related cause and effect correctly, you will notice that your eyes were on the black cat and worrying about the black cat and therefore did not see the pit in front of you. If you had ignored the black cat, you would not have fallen down. So what is your cause and effect relationship is very important. Once you are able to figure out what is the cause, what is the cause? Othello said that. It's a very, what should I say? I can't say sarcastic. What's the word for it? Not sarcastic. There's no humor really in it, but it's a very snide comment. You know, one of the famous lines of Othello. It is the cause, it is the cause, it is the cause, my heart. You know, Othello is extremely agitated because he's so crazed with jealousy and anger at Desdemona for what he has joined the Jots wrongly and said she's having an affair, which she's not even having an affair. And so he's extremely angry and very agitated. And he comes into her room. He's about to kill her. He's so upset. He's so agitated. He's being driven crazy by that jealousy, by that anger, by the disappointment, by the hurt. All these strong emotions arising out of nothing at all because nothing had happened. Yet, all these strong emotions towards an event that never took place in the first place. And then he says, it is the cause, it is the cause, it is the cause. Oh, really? I mean, I don't know if Shakespeare was trying to point it out or not, but it does sound like I mean, that's what we do, right? We are attributing the cause of things to somebody or something. And that's no cause of my agitation whatsoever. Desdemona has no power to agitate Othello. Just the other day, what day is it? Yesterday. Sometimes I'm traveling and I forget which day I am. Yesterday, one lady called me. Her husband has done something. She's very mad at him. He does this, he does that, he does that, he does that, he did this, he did that. How can he behave like this? So agitated. Ask her, suppose I asked her, I don't make these stupid comments, but suppose I asked, what is agitating you? Her answer is very clear. What is agitating her?
Her husband's behavior.
Her husband's behavior. So clear. Suppose I stop her and say, you're wrong. It's not your husband's behavior. She will do anything in the world to convince me how wrong he is. And if I agree and say, is it correct for him to do that? No, it's not correct for him to do. Then obviously he agitated me. Let us say he did something really bad. Let us accept her theory that he did something bad. But is that a cause to agitate me? Relating cause and effect. Suppose Elsie behaves very badly. Okay, suppose Elsie behaves very badly with Shilpa. They two have a fight. Will Joyce be agitated? Why am I agitated? Let them fight if they want to fight, right? But if Elsie and Shilpa have a fight, is Deepraj agitated? He's not agitated. Then how is it? There's the same fight. Elsie and Shilpa had a fight. Deepraj is not agitated. Joyce is not agitated. Momita is not agitated. Neeru is not agitated. Who is agitated?
Elsie and Shilpa.
Elsie and Shilpa. Now, why are Elsie and Shilpa agitated? You can say, as an example, that Elsie and Shilpa had a fight and therefore they're agitated. You can say that, right? If this fight between Elsie and Shilpa was truly a cause of agitation, then why is Joyce not agitated with it? So can we actually say that that fight is the cause of the agitation? Joyce was not agitated with it. Then how can you say that was the cause? The cause of the fight, not the cause of the agitation, is not that a fight took place. if it be true that because of a fight, agitation will take place, then Krishna should have been maximum agitated. He fought the entire Mahabharata war. Was he agitated? No agitation. So what was the cause of the agitation, if there was any, is not that Elsie and Shilpa fought, but that their minds were involved. Now, Joyce's mind was not involved in that. If Joyce fights with Uttara, then she can get agitated. But Joyce is not concerned with Elsie and Shilpa fighting. I don't think she has met them. Have you met Elsie and Shilpa? No. She has not met them. They'll fight. Kya jata hai mera? What goes of mine? As we say in India. Do you know? Joyce, we say this. What goes of mine? Or what goes of yours? It is a direct translation from the Hindi that says, Mera kya jata hai? It makes no sense to a person not from India. Have you understand what it means? What goes of mine? You do. Okay. You've been in India, then only that's the only way to understand what the sentence means. What goes of mine? What goes of mine? What goes of yours is, if the mind goes, you get agitated. If the mind doesn't go, you don't get agitated. That's it. And yet nobody will believe. Nobody in the world will believe this. Because it's so obvious. So when we learn to relate cause and effect correctly, we come into the scientific realm. When you come into the scientific realm, many people discard the idea of God. Because they say, what has God got to do with it? And they're right. God has got nothing to do with it. You keep telling them God did it. They say, are you mad? Can't you see yourself doing it? And they're right. So many scientists become atheists because of the blind belief of the religious people who claim that God does everything. So there is a scientist say, forget it. I don't want to deal with you mad guys. And they're right. But beyond the realm of superstition, beyond the realm of science, is the realm beyond causation. The realm beyond causation is the realm of contemplation, where you don't really want to know why a fight took place. See, causation only tells you why something happened. But you want to know more than that. Why did this mango tree grow? Because there was a seed. No, it grew because of God. No God involved. There was a seed, it grew into a mango tree. Simple. Then where does God come into this? God doesn't come into this. So when a human being starts contemplating on the very miracle of the tree, on the very, how, not in the sense of causation, but in the miracle of it. Like, how's a child born with like a tiny liver probably, right? I mean, I don't know how small a baby's liver would be, or two tiny kidneys and their little nails. The miracle of it. How is this? What is this? How? You're asking a question beyond causation. That comes to the next realm of thinking, where you're able to think of something more than just the mechanical causation of it. And by mechanical, I don't mean petty causation, anything. We're able to consider more than that. So that's what we were at, I think. So here are the people who join the dots. Some people don't join the dots. They are daft. They have no brains. We are also like that. Very often, we don't join dots. Sometimes we do join dots, but these dots are wrongly joined. That's called superstition. And it's not necessarily superstition in the sense of some belief. It could be in our everyday life. then we do join the dots and we join them correctly in terms of causation. Okay, so various types. Now, where were we? And of course, beyond that, that intellect goes into contemplation. So,
some people look at the world, that
we
paragraph.
did that, right? Yeah.
But 4 or 5 lines it finished.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Deepak to show it. Deepak, you're the host. Deepak's the host, not today. Okay, so here we are. Some people look at the world and have no reaction. They're merely watchers of this world. Others begin correlating the facts, but this correlation may be meaningless. This type is superstitious. Notice. Their beliefs are groundless. An idea is correlated with any other idea pretty much randomly. Others correlate facts based on some realities, some causality. These are the men of science who know much more and synthesize the world into predictable patterns. The men of science who know, who understand, and they're able to synthesize the world into predictable patterns. Give me an example of synthesizing the world into predictable patterns.
Technology.
Okay, give a real example. I mean, like a full example.
Predicting the Halley's Comet's appearance.
Okay. Yes, any repetitive phenomenon, correct? The prediction of the comets. Any repetitive, they're able to see the repetitive patterns and they know that this is happening, like an eclipse is coming, or the comet is coming, or the monsoons are going to come, or if you plant this seed, then you will get this tree, whatever. Synthesize the world into predict. Synthesize means put it all together in one piece. Heartbeat. What do you mean by heartbeat, Monisha?
It's repetitive. It continues. It's
okay, but
something that keeps life going.
Yeah, okay. So synthesize means put it together, make a picture out of it. So you say, okay, this kind of heartbeat will mean this kind of thing. Habit.
Yeah, an accelerated heartbeat will give you a heart attack.
Yes.
Some, you know.
Correct. So yeah, so any synthesis. Habit is, yes, if you know people who, just happened to this today. H2O is water. Okay. Yeah, you can synthesize every time H2 combines with O. H2 plus 2O, right? 2H plus O, whatever. Forgot.
2 H's plus
O2.
So when these two combine, then you get 2H2O, correct? Then you get 2H2O. So whatever, you synthesize it as a man of science into some predictable pattern. Okay? If I tell my husband there is Karela for dinner, and he will get angry. So you have synthesized your various you've synthesized your various experiences into one something. Okay? If I forget my wife's birthday, she will get angry. You have synthesized your, no, it's not anywhere here. You have synthesized your experiences into a predictable pattern. Okay. You multiply millions of patterns that you have come across. Every Friday at 7 o'clock, you will have How Do You Know What You Know class. Except that in July, you won't have it. You will have it, but a different type. So he synthesized the world into predictable patterns. If I spend more than I earn, what will happen?
I'll go broke.
Yes, I'll be worse than broke. Broke is bad enough. I'll be worse than broke. I'll be
in debt.
In debts. So you synthesize the world into predictable patterns. Others weave facts into a system or story. You make a story out of it. Right? All the big, great authors. Why do some authors some books become classics? The Tale of Two Cities, or thank you, The Tale of Two Cities, or any such thing. Why are they classics? Why is Shakespeare classics? Because they are able to take that, whatever understanding they have, and convert it into a story which is eternally true. Like, you know how Charles Dickens begins. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the time of knowledge. It was the time of ignorance. And why is this such a classic opening? It's because it is true for all times. It is always the best of times. It is always the worst of times. It's always the time of knowledge, and it's always the time of ignorance. If you look today, don't you look and you see, my God, this is the era of knowledge. And if you look again, you can say, this is the era of ignorance. It's always true. So some people do it like that. Some people are the men of science. Okay, and they're doing this cause and effect stories going. Some people weave facts into a system or a story. So the various facts are linked together either through science or imagination. Like if you read a scientific book, it tells you some truths. If you read the Ramayana also, it tells you some truths. If you read the story about Othello, the story may be false. There may have been no Othello and there may have been no Desdemona, and yet somehow it tells you a truth. So the various facts are linked together either through science or imagination. Thus, pictures make more sense than words. A picture, they say, is worth 1,000 words. Sometimes a picture communicates. Remember that, who was that fellow? Lakshman's Common Man. That expression that fellow had became classic because it is really the expression of the common man towards what is going on all the time. It is also the reason why laboratory experiments make more sense than science lectures. Have you noticed that? If you want to teach a person science, it's easier to take him to the lab and show him what happens than to give him a lecture in class. And going by that same idea, it's easier to teach people in residential courses than online, because then there's an experience there. And doing makes people learn faster. Poetic justice is another such linkage. The handful Vedantic laws are just another such linkage, helping us make sense of the world around us. Vedanta gives such few laws, but if you learn it, if you understand them, the whole thing starts making sense. Piecing the jigsaw together, the whole tapestry of life stands revealed. Writing a book, for instance, is not just so many facts, but a correlation, a system between facts. And the better that is done, the better the readability and comprehension of the book. Thus, novels are easier readings than non-fiction. And popular non-fiction is easier than scientific treatises. That the people who can see the tapestry in the solemn treatises find it just as interesting and memorable. See, for some people, this book might sound very interesting. I hope it sounds interesting for you all. But for others, it will be sounding, baap re, ye log kitne bolte hain. They're carrying on and on. What is going on over here? So it all depends on whether you see the system in it or not. If you see the system, interesting. If you don't see the system, boring. So a very famous quote, Don Quixote. Finally, from so little sleeping and so much reading, his brain dried up and he went completely out of his mind. When does this happen?
Too much Shravana.
Yes, or the other way around. Put it the correct way.
Too little Manana.
Yes, that's better. You just don't think at all. In other words, in this case, what do we mean by manana? That you're able to make that story, you're able to make that system from whatever you have learned. If you're not able to make that system, not able to make that story, you're not able to synthesize it into a pattern, then you're reading. So you're not sleeping. So from so little sleeping and so much reading, his brain dried up and he went completely out of his mind. This is what will happen to us if we are not careful. That is why when we're here at this residential course, you are given allocated time to study. You have to study only in that time, no other time. And the rest of the time is meant for whatever it is meant for. Following the schedule is one of the most important portions of being here. Otherwise, just being here and not following the schedule, then you might as well be at home. Why come here to not follow the schedule? You can stay at home and not follow the schedule. So that's a very important part of the studies. Okay, Deepak, let's continue. T.S. Eliot, in his literary criticism, maintains that when new knowledge is gained, the whole structure that existed before is affected, and the whole previous structure must change to accommodate the new. It is not the adding of one more column, but the revamping of the edifice. I hope now it's clear why that is so. Because every time you add a fact, you modify the very system itself. Reflection is not idle thinking or mental wandering. It is disciplined thinking on a particular topic. Deliberating on the topic until it has been dealt with and its various ramifications considered. So tomorrow, for all those who are here, tomorrow evening, we will do a session on reflection because it's a very important portion of what we are doing. And we must be able to know how to reflect. Because 90% of the time when we think we are reflecting, it's only mental wandering. Mental wandering means going from topic to topic to topic without having sorted anything out. Yes. Yes, Momita.
So the joining the dots comes under Shravana, not Manana. Why is that?
Happened here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, suddenly another screen came up. Okay. It comes under Shravana and not Manana? No,
Joining the dots. Oh, yeah.
It comes under Manana, but why it is, and you say, why we put it under Shravana? To show that Shravana is not enough. If you don't do this properly, the problem, here we're talking, what is the problem? Manana is the solution to this problem.
Okay. Okay.
So if you just study and you collect a lot of facts, but you don't have a joining, you don't have a system, then that's going to be useless to you. Or you have a system, but it's a superstitious system, still useless. Or you have a system and it's a scientific state, it's not useless, it's very useful, but it's not enough.
So joining the dots is part of Manana.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you do Manana, you join the dots correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Tarun.
Ma'am, you said when two people fight and they are agitated, means their minds are involved. That is why. But I just wanted to clarify, does that mean that if they are agitated, the causes and other person's behavior is not a cause of my agitation? I am not able to understand the issue or situation correctly or having a wrong expectation. Does that is the reason of my agitation or either of the person's agitation?
If my mind got involved, you could say, you see, merely having a desire, you're not going to get so agitated as you get when you have a fight. Now you got into a fight. That means your mind has got so completely involved that you've taken wrong action after wrong action after wrong action. And every wrong action in the sense, every mind-driven action will give a mind-driven result, right? A result to the mind. So you are escalating, and as you escalate internally, you're escalating externally. Okay, now you manage to hit that person. Now that person having been hit is not going to keep quiet. He's going to hit you back. So you're escalating.
Right. So what happens in the case when, assuming that other person is at fault and the first person is not at the fault and second person is at the fault, still if one gets agitated, in that case also your mind-driven action, you're not able to take the right action in both the cases.
You're not able to think about it correctly, and therefore you're not able to act correctly.
Okay. Despite the wrong actions are taken by the other person, if you are intellectually strong, you'll be able to take the correct action and you'll not be agitated.
What is that to get agitated about?
Okay.
Agitated means you're all worked up and you can't handle things after that. Your mind is got completely involved. When your mind gets involved, it's not easy to pull it back. Okay, let's say that you have a fight with Elsie, and then Momita enters the room. Can you turn to Momita and talk to her as normally as every other time you've spoken to her? That means your mind.
Right.
But suppose you just said that. I saw that once. I saw that in Swamiji once. As I was approaching him, he saw somebody doing something wrong. It was on the ground. So I saw him, he saw somebody doing wrong. And he just fired that person. He said, "What do you think you're doing, Lala?" And then I was approaching him. I was walking towards him while he saw that thing and he was firing that. I thought, yeah, this is a great time I've chosen to go and ask whatever I was about to ask. So I was in a situation where I couldn't turn back. I would have run away if I could, because I didn't want to be caught in this crossfire. So I was going towards him and I couldn't back off because he was shouting at that person, but I was still within his, you could see towards him. Yeah. So I couldn't just say, okay, forget it. I'll ask some other time. I had to proceed and walk towards him. And I reached another few steps. I reached him and then I, said whatever I wanted to say. And then he answered me as, like any other time he would have answered me. And matter was over and I went my way, he went his way. And then I was like, I was like quite astounded by that, because just 1 second before that, he had been shouting at somebody like he was so angry with that person. I am just there. And he turned to me and I said what I had to say and he said what he had to say, and it was as if life was just not.
Right.
And yet people will say, oh, Swamiji, he's so hot-tempered. Hot-tempered, you try doing this, getting so angry and then in a second switching. Try it. See if hot-tempered people can do that or not. They will hold it for days. Anybody else coming into their presence also cannot. If he feels you need a firing, you will get a firing. Life is very simple.
Agitation means mind, you're mind driven basically. Any interaction is mind driven brings agitation.
If there's no involvement, there's no agitation.
Thank you.
Reflection is not idle thinking or mental wandering. It is disciplined thinking on a particular topic. Deliberating on that topic until it has been dealt with and its various ramifications considered. Disciplined thinking. Particular topic. Thinking about it till it has been dealt with. Until you have said, okay, I've thought enough, now I'm done with this topic. There's a full stop. And you know that there's a full stop. You have finished it. Then you've gone to something else. And when is it dealt with? And you have thought of the various ramifications. Ramifications means, if this be true, then this and this and this will also be true. It cannot be possible that this is true and these things are not true. We've considered this. Reflection occurs when the intellect deep dives into an idea to understand it completely. The purpose of reflection is only to understand the idea. Reflection gives rise to comprehension and application. If you do this correctly, two things happen. One is comprehension, you understand it. And if you do understand it, the automatic result of it is you do it. If you don't do it, that means you've not understood it. So here's an example of mental wandering. This is really how people think. Wonder if rebirth exists. So what is our topic? Rebirth. But is our birth really sorrow? Yes, Shilpa had such a bad time with her husband. But not all husbands are bad. Some marriages work. I wonder why. It must be destiny. Or is it luck? But hard work is required. See how much money Bill Gates made with hard work. But what use is money after all? Hey, Papa, where have you started? Where have you reached? This is called mental wandering. It's easy to explain mental wandering. Explaining reflection is difficult. No, Deepraj, it's not a picture of you. It's a picture of all of us. All are exactly like that. Yes, Naim. Naim, are you familiar with Sanskrit? When have you started talking in Sanskrit?
Just words here and there, Janki.
Okay. Bahu shaka hanantascha. Bahu shaka means bahu, many, shaka, branches. Bahu shaka hi anantascha. Indeed, many branched, and ananta, infinite, is the nature of our mind. Every human. Naim, you must join the Sanskrit class also. Since you see.
I will think about it, Janki.
Huh?
I will definitely think about it. I was considering learning Sanskrit.
We are starting a new batch. You can, in fact, be the coordinator of the new batch. Where is Mithali?
Okay.
You can talk to Mithali. Ajay sir said she will start new batch, so you can be part of whatever it takes to get a new batch started.
Okay.
Yes, Mukesh.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Correct. Good evening.
Right. So you talked about reflection. You said if your comprehension is correct, you'll get to the end point. So, but say it's not your topic, your area, and you're trying to reflect on that area. For example, I was doing something on accounts today and trying to work out something. I tried it for 3 days. I've been going to look at it, and I just I couldn't find the two things I wanted to look for. I looked everywhere. I spoke to someone else as well. So where do you come? Do you give up then and give it to the person who is actually a professional in that area? So although I reflected, I said, well, how do I work this out? How do I work this out?
Yeah, depends upon you, but you should know where to. It's your call on whether you're putting a full stop on it or not.
Full stop, yeah. That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but that's your call. So you have to say that, okay, I think I've reached the end of what I'm capable of doing.
Right.
That
doesn't mean you're mentally wandering around. I mean, I was stuck on that. I was concentrating on that particular area, but I couldn't get to the end. So getting
to the end means putting a full stop, one way or the other.
Right.
You may decide, I don't want to think about this anymore, or I have thought, I've understood it, so I finished thinking. But either you've decided that you've called it a day as far as that is concerned.
Okay. I thought you have to find, you can't, because I'm not in that particular field. And I just couldn't get to what I wanted to get, basically.
Unfortunately, in life, quite often we cannot find any answer to whatever we were thinking about.
Right. Okay. And what's this probable? It's something you're thinking about, is probability of happening, or it's probably it'll be winter here tomorrow, although hope not. I mean, where does the probable part come into this equation? Not this particular thing we're talking about, reflection, but previously you said, in synthesizing something, and you come to a conclusion. But where does the probable come in? Possibility.
When you have enough patterns, when you know enough patterns, you can start predicting them.
Right.
Your prediction may not be 100% correct, but that's the most likely.
Most likely.
But you have to know the patterns before. Otherwise, how will you say probability?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, Monisha, Joyce, why don't you get together with Naeem? The class will start based on whatever time. It's a new batch, so whatever time works for everybody, as well as the teacher. The teacher is Ajay sir, and whatever time works for you all and him. Whoever wants to join, basically whoever wants to join must join some WhatsApp group. And decide that, okay, we all agree on this time, and then ask the teacher whether he's available at that time. Mostly he's available. I think he would be available on IST, Friday, 9 to 10, if that works for you all. I think that time is chosen because I think on Thursday it is 9 to 10. And I think that time is chosen because people are all over the world. So I think that's what worked, but maybe not for this batch. So the people in the batch should sort of decide what works for them and then ask the teacher whether that time works for him. I have only asked him so far, are you willing to take one more batch? To which he has said yes. Now everything else works from there. And of course, you coordinate with Mitali, who is generally in charge of the Sanskrit batches. There are 3 current batches on, and we can start one more.
Right.
So, who is not experienced? Deepak, this is all, I can't read it. It's, who has not experienced being asked a question, going mentally blank, and then not hearing the answer, realizing that we knew it? I'm sure everybody in class can relate to that, right? You're asked a question, you don't know what the answer is, and the moment somebody says the answer, you say, oh, I knew that answer. This happens when the information has not been reflected upon. Because now you remember those words. What is called, okay, all of this, by the way, is still in Shravana, okay, and it's all an explanation of why Manana is required. What is called Jugaad in Hindi is a particular Indian capacity. In fact, it's the capacity in all developing countries where limited resources have to be put to best possible use, often to multiple uses. Jugaad is making use of the available resources. You're all familiar with Jugaad, right? Everybody knows Jugaad. Anybody doesn't know what is Jugaad? Mukesh, you don't know what is Jugaad? Oh, Joyce, you know what is Jugaad? No? Everybody else knows what is Jugaad, right? Yeah. So Jugaad is a very peculiarly Indian word. I don't know where it comes from and why it comes. I don't know which language it is from. Is it Hindi? I don't know. It must be Hindi. So it's a very peculiar thing where something needs to be done. Nobody has the resources to do it, but they do it. Suppose there is a ladder, a long ladder that has to be carried in a truck to some place, but there is no truck. What they do have is a cycle. So two guys, okay, take the cycle. It's a long ladder. So the guy on the front cycle is driving the cycle with the top of the ladder on his shoulder. And the guy at the cycle behind, I don't know how many feet behind, is riding his cycle with the back end of the rear end of the cycle on his shoulder. So they have managed to get some job done in spite of not having whatever they require to get a job done. That's how many mechanics repair our cars also, especially on highways. They don't have whatever it requires for this car to work, but they do some jugaad out of it. So that's jugaad. It's a very peculiar thing that happens in developing countries. One common example of that is over here, at least, is when there is no change. I don't know if you notice that. When there's no change, then suppose you have to give somebody 20 rupees. Indians do all these complaints. You have to give the rickshawala 23 rupees. But you have only 50 rupees. And he doesn't have change. So you give him 50 rupees, then you give him 3 rupees, and then he gives you 30 rupees back. If you try this in an American store, they'll give up on you. No Indian can buy in an American store because they will try to do all this stuff with those guys. They don't understand anything of what is going on. Did you get what these guys do? That's how they deal with change. Don't have change. So it costed 23. The guy doesn't have 7 rupees to give you back. You don't have 30 rupees to give him. So you give him 50. You give him 53. And then he gives you 30 back. When you say it, it's so complicated, yet everybody does this in the rickshaw every day. Did you get it? Mukesh, did you get what they do? Yeah, okay. When you say it, it suddenly becomes very complicated. Okay, so that's jugaad. You just make do with whatever is available. You achieve the end without the resources. Yeah.
Madam, that day there was an WhatsApp. He wanted to make an electronic vehicle. He didn't have money, very obviously, somewhere in Bihar in the interior of the country. So he went to the garbage or the people who sell scrap, got pieces, welded them together, put a solar panel, small one, and he's driving electronic, that battery gets charged, and 20,000 rupees against a cost of 4 or 5 lakhs. Okay, yes. That's about 20 times 1/20th the price. So resources are limited, but you're getting the effect. That's what. Yes, and yes, carrying 5 people.
Yes. I saw that. He has a solar panel on top. Yeah, correct.
No, Janki ji, I saw another one. Another one I saw on WhatsApp. They made a khatiya, you know that khatiya, that cane bed. So they made actually a vehicle out of that cane bag, and they put some machines which make the wheels, and then he drove, and he could make people sit on that. If I have it, I'll definitely forward.
With a petrol engine. With a petrol engine.
Yeah, petrol engine.
That's amazing. So this is called Jugaad. Anyway, what is Jugaad got to do with all of this? We will have to study next time. Next time means in August. In the month of July, what are you all going to do? What you all are going to do is the following. I am suggesting what you all will do, I don't know. This is my suggestion. For all 4 of these weeks, please get together and do Manana. When you get together and do Manana, it is called group discussion. So please spend the next 4 weeks doing group discussion. Those people who attend Thursday class can be take active participation in that. And you don't have to do big GD, small GD. If you all are a lot of people who meet, because I know most of this class is already here at the retreat. So I don't know how many people will be there in the class, but please get together and have a question. If you all are all familiar with the method of group discussion, right? Taruna, you're familiar, correct? Elsie, are you here right now? You're here, right?
Yes, Janvi, I'm here.
Okay. So I'm amazing. Even though I'm physically present with everybody, I still haven't met anyone so far. So yeah, so whoever is in the Thursday class, please take, and is not at Rishihood University at the moment, please take more active interest. Same time Fridays. If you all are too many people, if you all are 5, 6 people, it'll be one group. If you all are 10, 12 people, make 2 groups, just get together, have a question, write down the question. This is very important. Everybody writes down the question and think of the answer and do it yourself and do it together so that everybody can participate. Go with the intention of Manana. Don't go with the intention of anything else. We're getting together as a group and doing Manana. So we'll do that for next, for July's. Yes? Okay, great.